Oh my god, it has been so long since I've done a YouTube video. Like, I got curious and I just looked and it's been like a year, like over a year since I've done one. So I figured YouTube comeback maybe? Also, excuse all the marks. Loki does not like getting into cat carriers to go to the vet to get his nails clipped. So a little bit about what's been going on with me since one of my last videos. Obviously major hair change. I was dyeing my hair a lot, so I've had it recently blue, purple, red, blue again, blue and purple. Lots of different colors in the past year. So it was super damaged and it was down to like here, so I decided it was just time to cut it. So then I was like, okay, if I'm gonna cut my hair, I might as well do something different with it and add bangs too. So I decided to do bangs. Plus I also decided to cut my hair because I had a meeting with an agent and it didn't go well. One of the first things she told me was that my hair was super damaged and I didn't have Hollywood ready hair. So she's like, I can't sign you with hair like that. I can't get you booked with hair like that. You're gonna have to cut it and grow it back out. So I was like, okay, make it healthy again. So here we are. It's a lot healthier, a lot shinier and stuff again, so that's good. So I'm growing out my natural hair. Probably won't dye it again for a while, which sucks because I love colored hair. Obviously, there's been some changes since my last videos too. I have a half sleeve now. So this was done by the awesome Phoenix at Dinosaur Tattoo. So we got like some cherry blossoms here. It's still healing, so if it looks flaky on camera, I'm sorry. Got some spider lilies. Oh, why is it red? But yeah, we got some spider lilies. It's super itchy right now because it's still healing. I've got 2 rib tattoos now, and I've got like a bow and arrow that's blown out on the back of my shoulder from my very first tattoo. So, you know, thanks to that guy, because that was my most painful tattoo to date, because he shoved it so hard into my shoulder that it blew out, and he made it feel like he was digging into me because he went so hard with it, even though he was like, everyone tells me I'm gentle-handed. Are the people who say that you're gentle-handed in the room with us right now? I'm just wondering. So anyways, more about what I've been up to. I used to be working at GameStop. You guys kind of saw that. So I quit. I was a key holder there for like a year, but there were several excuses for why they could not give me 13 cents for a raise that I was supposed to be getting. Because as a key holder there, you're supposed to be making 10 an hour, and they wouldn't even give me that. Like, they were like, oh, okay, we're gonna give you a few months since you're new, because it was my very first job. So they're like, we're gonna give you a few months so you can kind of get some more experience. So some time went by, my numbers were in the green constantly. So I was like, okay, cool. Can I get my 13 cents? Excuses. Like, they're like, well, your numbers have been green lately. I was like, they were green for like 3 months straight because this one portion of it isn't green anymore. I can't have 13 cents. It's gonna kill you guys to give me 13 cents an hour, like at 13 additional cents. Really? But yeah, so there was just excuses left and right. And then like, whenever I was finally getting my numbers green again, I messed up. It was a day of inventory and we had like 6 different store managers who I had never met up in the store at one time. And this customer came in and everybody acted like they knew him, so I thought he was another manager. So I had my phone out and it was in front of the district manager, but I thought this guy was a manager too because everyone seemed to know him. So I got threatened with a write-up for my phone, so then I was told that I couldn't have a raise at that point. So I was like, okay. But then like my coworker makes inappropriate comments towards me and he's just like that. So anyways, I ultimately ended up quitting. Then I worked at Jimmy John's, and that's a whole different story in itself. I lasted 2 months. I will never go back there again. That place can go to hell. At least the one in my particular city, because that one, I could do a whole video on that alone. I'm not going to, because I don't feel like wasting the breath on that place anymore, but no. So then I ended up at Bath & Body Works. I'm coming up on a year at Spencer's. I absolutely love working at Spencer's. And now I'm also at Francesca's, which is closing, so I will no longer be at Francesca's. So your girl's been busy. And then a little bit more of an update. Back in February of this year, I filmed a movie. It's called Love vs. the Red Pill. I met a lot of great people there. Like, they are fantastic people. A lot of good actors and just crew people. I did the slate for it, but I also had a small part in it as well. I play Stacy in the film. I'm not gonna get into too many details about it because I don't know what all I could say. My character is basically dumb. I don't really know. There's no personality there, honestly. she's just on her phone, realistically. She's on her phone a lot. So, you know, there's that. But my scene partner, Ben, was amazing. He's a super great guy. I mean, everybody was really great. I got a lot of advice. Like, one of the lead actors, Warren, he gave me a ton of advice on different things. And like, him and Serena sat me down. Serena's our makeup artist, and she's also in the film. They kind of like sat me down and were kind of talking about like, why don't you think you can go very far with this right now? Like, why do you feel like money's the issue? What do you feel like's holding you back? Like, it was like this whole like motivational talk. And it was like 2 a.m. and everybody's a little bit buzzed, and it became like a super deep conversation. I don't know what was going on. But my first day there was so bad. Like, I live an hour and 20-ish minutes from where we filmed. So I drove to Panama City, which is where we filmed, and I get to the Airbnb, and then the code that I was texted, I'm like, okay, cool, door pass code. But I was anxious, so I'm like, okay, I hope this is the right one. So I text Melissa, she's one of the actors, and I'm like, hey, this is the code, right? Like, it's this door, right? She didn't text me back, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll just find out. There's no parking. So I'm like, great, now I'm gonna park in like this random spot over here, because all the parking spaces in front of my Airbnb is taken. I don't know this neighborhood. I don't know if it's a safe neighborhood or not. I'm kind of scared for my life a little bit because I have severe anxiety. So I'm like, okay, I'll just park over here. I guess it's fine. But I also have this big suitcase, so I really hope this is the right building because I have to drag it all the way over here to get to the Airbnb. So I take it, I get to the Airbnb, and I open the door, and there's so many people in there. There's at least like 20 people in there. And everybody turns and looks at me, and I'm just like, am I in the right building? Like, I look absolutely horrified because there's so many people in there, and I know maybe 2, and the 2 people I did know, I had literally not seen in like 4 years. Like, I met the director Kevin, and I met Melissa on set in like 2019, 2020. We were gonna originally film a film called McDojo, and it didn't happen. It didn't work out. So those are the only 2 people that I knew. So I'm like, this is where I'm staying. Like, why are there so many people in here? I'm like absolutely terrified, and it feels like I'm gonna pass away. So I walk in, and like, as soon as I walk in, Kevin's like, yeah, you ready to rehearse? I'm like, rehearse? I just finished driving. What do you mean rehearse? I have my whole suitcase right here. I don't even know where my room is. I'm like super confused. So everybody's like, hey, maybe she should take a minute. I was like, yeah, can I like look over at the script at first before we rehearse? I'm like, I didn't even know we were rehearsing today. I thought it was just like a relaxing day and we started set tomorrow. What do you mean we're rehearsing today? So I'm kind of freaking out. I am like, I feel like my heart's gonna explode out of my chest because there's so many people and everybody's looking at me and they're wanting to talk to me and get to know me, and I'm like terrified for my life because I'm like, I didn't mentally prepare for this many people. I expected like 4 other girls and that was it, not so many people. So I feel really bad, and then Melissa's like, hey, let me take you to your room, and I'm like, okay. So she takes me to the room and there's bunk beds, and I was kind of under the impression I had my own room, so I'm a little thrown off by that, and I'm like, oh my god, like my fear's like strangers. I'm like, I'm in a room with strangers. And she's like, yeah, so you're gonna be the top bunk. I'm like, top bunk? Let me explain what this bunk bed looked like, okay? It looked like it was built out of a PVC pipe. It's super tiny, and I had just injured my ankle on a ladder like for like 3 days before I had left. So I have the top bunk. I have to climb up this PVC pipe ass bed with like a busted ankle, and I'm like, no. There's like a fan like right in it. Like you can't really get in the bed or it's gonna like decapitate you if it's on, or like if you have any meat on your bones, you're gonna get attacked by that fan even trying to get up there, or whack your head into the ceiling or whatever. So I'm like, this is bad. This is bad. This is not what I expected at all. I'm scared. So I'm like, okay, it's fine. So then Kevin's like, hey, you want to come out here and look at this little gift I got you? And I'm like, okay, cool. And now I am so bad with gifts. I'm absolutely terrible with them. I could be in love with the gift and I don't look excited apparently. Like everybody always thinks that I hate the gift that I get, and I'm like genuinely like happy about it because I'm just really bad at showing emotion when I get presents and things like that. So I'm kind of scared. So I'm like, if this is bad, he's gonna know. If this is a good gift, he's gonna think that it's bad. So I'm like terrified. So we walk out and he gives me like this little bag and he goes, okay, look in it. It's like nothing but Dr. Squatch soaps. And I'm like, oh, and he goes, what is it? I'm like, it's Dr. Squatch soap. And he's like, yeah, smell him. And he like takes it out and he goes, what do you think this one is? And so I like smell it and I'm like, I don't know, like eucalyptus. He goes, what? I'm like, I don't know, it kind of smells like eucalyptus. He goes, it's not. And he said whatever it was called. I don't know. He looked kind of like disappointed that I didn't know what it smelled like, which I guess is understandable. As a Bath and Body Works employee, you'd think I'd do a little better at knowing what the smell was in it. Yeah, then he got really excited because there was like a Yoda one in there and he's like, yeah, it's like Star Wars. And I'm not like a big Star Wars fan. Like, I mean, I don't think it's a bad series. It's just not a series for me. So he's like, yeah, so you know, plenty of soaps. I'm like, okay, cool. So then we go back and he's like, you ready to rehearse? I'm like, yeah, I guess so. So we do a couple of rehearsals and then they're like, hey, you can sit down when we're done rehearsing. And so people start coming up to me and kind of introducing themselves. And I feel really, really bad because Marcus wanted to introduce himself to me. Marcus was our DP. It's like, hey, I'm Marcus. And I'm like, hi. Like, I think I looked like I was a bitch or something like that. Like, I don't think it went well at all because I didn't feel like Marcus liked me after that point, which he warmed up, like we warmed up to each other closer into filming, but those first couple of days, I didn't feel like most anybody liked me because it just went really bad. I had a bad first impression because I had no good mental preparation for what I was getting into. And it wasn't that I had anything against anyone. I was just absolutely scared. So I feel really bad. That went bad. And then Indy comes over to introduce himself, and Indy was our sound guy. And he's like, hey, I'm Indy. And apparently he told me later on down the set that whenever he introduced himself, I looked at him like, which that looks mean. If that's what I looked like, no wonder people didn't like me. Like, oh. My face is a curse. So I'm feeling really, really bad about the whole thing. And then like that night, I was just so stressed out that like I went home that night at the Airbnb and I went to bed early. It was like 8 o'clock at night. I'm someone who doesn't even go to bed until like 2 o'clock in the morning. I went to bed at like 8 o'clock at night and I literally cried myself to sleep. So then I wake up in the middle of the night. I'm grateful that the fan isn't on, but I'm cramping. Like I got my period in the middle of the night. It hurts really, really bad. I'm like suffering. I'm miserable. It does not stop hurting. My bed feels wet for some reason. I don't know why. It has nothing to do with my period at all. It was just wet and like anytime I'd move, it sounded like I was on a chip bag, so it'd make like this weird like crinkling noise. And anytime anybody else moved, like anybody in the bunk next to me, like Olivia and Serena slept in that bunk, anytime they would move, it would shake my bunk. And anytime Kendra under me would move, it would shake our bunk too. And then like I have to step down on like this PVC pipe type bed and like the bars are like this thick. So you have to step on that. And I have flat feet. So I step on that and it hurts. So I'm like, there's no way I'm getting down here. Like, I'll just bleed. I guess it is what it is. So I had the earliest call time because I had never done sleep before, so I didn't understand how it really works. I just knew I knew that much. I didn't know like what you wrote on it or how you figured out what to write on it or any of that. So Kevin told me to come to set early so he could kind of show me. I had my earliest alarm set. I was supposed to be the first one up. So I get up and I'm ready to go to the bathroom. Someone's in the bathroom. I later found out it was Kendra. I love Kendra to death, but her skincare was killing me that day. Your girl was bleeding. I was angry and cold. I didn't even care to put jeans on and it was gonna be freezing outside. So I'm like freezing and in pain. I'm sitting on the couch in the dark like this, like a little gremlin. And I'm like angry. And then Indy and Melissa wake up and they turn on the light. They go, oh my God, what are you doing just on the couch in the dark? And I'm like, I'm waiting for the bathroom. Because it's such a bad mood. It was so bad. So then like, I know Olivia and Kendra did not like me. They did not like me that first day. Now they do. Now we're friends and now like we still send each other memes and stuff like that. But even Olivia admitted she was not my fan on day one. So they're like, hey, since you're gonna be heading to set, can you do a coffee run? And in my head, I'm kind of thinking, why would I do a coffee run? I don't drink coffee. Kind of doesn't really make sense. But I was like, well, I have to be to set early. Like I'm leaving in the next few minutes because I have to be on set to practice late. And Olivia goes, why do you have to practice late? And I was like, because I've never done it before. And she goes, okay, that doesn't even make sense. I was like, I don't know, I've never done it before. I've got no clue. Don't look at me. So she seemed very irritated. I could feel it. And I could tell she didn't like me. So when I was on set, I'm in a bad mood. I'm cold, I'm in pain, I'm cramping, and I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm feeling super stressed out. So I guess my mood was kind of killing other people's moods, and I'm sorry. But like I was super, super anxious. And so I don't really know what I'm doing. Everybody says like, you're not being loud enough. You're not slapping the thing hard enough and stuff like that. And I'm like, sorry, like I don't know, like I'm doing what I can. Okay, I came here to act. I wasn't even here to do the slate thing. That's not even what I got picked for this for. This part was written for me and I'm doing this. Like I don't understand what I don't know. So I felt a lot of pressure. Then like Serena and Joseph were making a lot of jokes with me and stuff like that on day one, so it kind of made me feel a little bit better. Then like everybody kind of started delving into daddy issues, and that was kind of funny. That's always a good open up kind of conversation. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I definitely had a lot of fun offset because like the energy's just great whenever you're not working, honestly, because everybody would like goof around and joke around. Like me and a couple of people went bar hopping. Like, oh my god, this is a story. This is a story, let me tell you. If you don't know, Panama City's in Florida. Now people think like beachy Florida, and this is beachy Florida, but it is also Florida. I would like to remind you, anybody who's really been around Florida or has family from Florida knows Florida is a different breed of people. There's a reason the Florida man is a thing with headlines. So we all decide to go to Tootsie's Orchid Lounge. And the last time me, Serena, Olivia, and Kendra had gone, it was very chill, very laid back. It was a weekday though. It was Dala and Styles were like, hey, let's go to Tootsie's. And we're like, are you sure? Like, it's like a Saturday night. Are you sure? And they're like, yeah, no, let's go. Let's see what the vibe's like. It was chill when you guys went. So it's me, Serena, Ben, Marcus, Warren, Dala, and Styles. So we all go to Tootsie's. It is jam-packed with older white people. Like, I mean, this almost feels dangerous. Like, I can't imagine how they felt because, like, me and Ben were the only two white people in our group. And me personally, like, I don't look right to these older white people because I got tattoos. So a lot of older white ladies don't really like that. So I'm getting some side eyes from some Karens. And then they're getting side eyes. These people are probably racist. And so, like, I say Styles, like, text our group chat. He goes, yo, it feels like a KKK meeting. And I'm like, oh my God. Ben's, like, taller than everybody. So he's overlooking the crowd. And he goes, dude, there's, like, 2 people literally about to, like, fuck on that dance floor right now. We're like, excuse me? There's an Elvis impersonator in the corner. And I point him out to Serena. And Serena goes, Elvis? So she looks and she goes like that. And Elvis just goes, and she's like, nope. She, like, turned away so fast. Then out of nowhere, a dude with a military helmet comes on. Like he just walks in there out of nowhere and is like ordering drinks. And we're like, hey, what is going on? Why he got a whole combat helmet on in the middle of a Tootsie's Orchid Lounge? Like, what's going on? There's like this old man who won't stop shitting on himself over and over again. Like, you just smell it over and over again. He's like right up on us in our personal space. And it's like, dude, change your diaper. It clearly is time to change that thing. Marcus is getting overwhelmed, and then like Warren's looking a little afraid. Like, we had 2 Warrens. We had Grip Warren and we had Actor Warren. It was Grip Warren with us. So this Warren's like, guys, what is going on? I don't think we should be here. We're getting really smushed. Then like this one dude gets up on the stage. He's the only guy in there having fun that wasn't white. And he goes, there's a lot of beautiful ladies here tonight. And there's like a couple old ladies like, woo, whatever. Like me and like Serena are side-eyeing each other like, what's going on here? And he's like, it's making my flesh real weak, which has our group like, excuse me? Like, what did he just say? He goes, I don't know if I can take all of y'all, but I'm gonna try. And we're like, we look over at Warren, he goes, and we're like, yeah, say less. So we're going outside. So we go outside. Ben's like, what about Old Beach Bar? Let's go there. I was like, last time we were at Old Beach Bar, this old dude sat next to you and thought Earl was gonna buy him a beer. Like, he just assumed. And then he said some weird conversation to me, Kendra, and Serena about like, I'm not telling you guys my name until I see some ID. I'm not getting in trouble. Like, are we sure we want to go there again? Well, apparently the general consensus is yes. So we pull up. It's pretty much the same sort of audience, except this time they've got karaoke in there. So we're like, okay, yeah, no. So Dollar and Styles are like, we know a place. It's a little bit more diverse. It's probably safer and a lot more fun with a lot better music. Because everywhere else we've been was nothing but country old white people. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not the vibe, and we were facing a lot of judgment. We're in the South, and we clearly stood out like a sore thumb with our group. So we go to Oasis, and so far it's pretty cool, you know, like it's all right. There's this one old dude who's kind of staring at me really weird, and he's like looking at me kind of creepy, and like Ben comes over and puts his arm around me, and he goes, hey, I'm just over here because that old guy keeps staring at you, so you know. And then Serena buys me a drink, and she like points that it's for me. The old dude sees that, looks at me with the most disgusted face, gets up and leaves. So I guess he thought me and Serena were gay, and he did not like that, so he just left. So I don't know what that was about. There's like a skeleton above us that's like teabagging us from the sky, so we're like, okay, kind of weird. But, you know, overall, the vibe's pretty cool. So then I think Dollar and I want to say Styles went over to a pool table and started playing pool. This dude gets up, who'd been kind of staring at the guys for a little bit. He gets up and he goes, that's Daddy's table. I'm gonna let y'all play, but y'all gonna play with me next. And I don't know if that was like an innuendo or if he was being like, hey, you guys are gonna play pool with me next or what, but I don't know. Everybody starts making kind of weird looks. So it's getting super awkward. But they end up playing pool and Serena texts Dollar and she's like, listen, blink twice if you need help. He tells us later, he goes, I was blinking so much that my eyes are gonna fall out my head. They play a couple rounds of pool with him or something like that, and then he walks up and he like starts massaging Warren, and he's like, hey, me and you are gonna play next. And then he points at Dollar and Marcus, and he goes, it's gonna be us big guys against those skinny guys. He goes, you know, fat dicks versus skinny dicks. Marcus is like appalled. He's like, that man called an Uber and left. Marcus had enough. He straight up left. And Warren was getting uncomfortable for obvious reasons. So we're like, okay, you know what? What do we do at this point? Like, Applebee's, it's late. Like, everything else is closed. Applebee's is the only thing that's open. But I was like, at the same time, guys, this is Florida, and how are the rest of our bar hopping experience has been? Are we sure we really want to go to an Applebee's? But everybody agreed to it. So we go, and thankfully we are the only people in this entire Applebee's. There's maybe like one other person. The drinks were good, because I like the Shark Bowl drink, so it was really good. And when we were able to eat our food, we were able to just kind of relax and not deal with weirdos or daddy in his table. So that's what bar hopping in Florida is like. That's pretty much all I can think of to catch you guys up on how I've been. I will probably try to make more videos now that I have a little bit more time on my hands and now that I kind of have more things to kind of fill everybody in on. If you have any video suggestions or things you want to talk about, or like story times, or like we want to do like an advice video, or just ideas in general, leave a comment down below, like and share. Follow my Instagram. I'll leave a link in my description box with all my socials on it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. It was great to see you again, talk to you again. It's been a while. My phone is falling, but bye.